Mold by itself, if it's present, it's not covered, period. But if it's present with water damage, it's definitely covered. We've been in business since 1989 to present. We went through a lot of changes. We went through a lot of franchising experiences. We went through Montgomery Ward, and if you guys, the younger generation doesn't know about Montgomery Ward, but we went through Montgomery Ward, we went through Sears, we went through 1-800 water damage, we went through ducts. Now we're back again to our sole VIP restoration, sole, and we're done with the franchise industry. We hold a lot of certifications throughout the years, a lot of education that we went through. Our specialty is water damage, mold, and fire restoration. We also offer air duct cleaning, carpet and upholstery cleaning, tile cleaning, sewage cleanup, mold and asbestos testing, back out service. Back out is basically, it's another service that we offer, which means if your house ever flooded or fire damage or anything like that, we take out your furniture, take out your belongings, and we either store it in our warehouse or store it somewhere in water damage affects a lot of homes. It's number one claims in the insurance industry, and quick respond is going to save you a lot of headache. The quickest thing, it's the longer you let the water sit there, the more damage it's going to cause, the more headache it's going to cause. Anybody knows what's the best thing to do in the water damage?
Call you.
Before you call me.
Shut off the water.
Shut off the water, exactly. Turn off the water source. We got a call from a customer, and the customer called the insurance company, the adjuster, which means that he called the adjuster called the TPA, the third-party administration, the third-party administration called us. We drove to the customer home. That process takes roughly about 2 to 3 days. We got the call, we drove to the customer home, we got to the customer home, and water was just dripping. The water is dripping. It's like, that doesn't make sense. I said, did you turn off the water? He goes, oh, am I supposed to? Yeah, I mean, water's been flooding his house for 3 days, and he didn't know that he's supposed to shut off the water. Determine the scope of the work, document all the damage. Pictures speaks a lot of words to the adjuster. Videos, after you turn off the water, grab your camera, grab your video, and take a video of what's going on. We want to see a lot of times where you have water coming, gushing into your floor. When you have it on picture, it makes a lot of difference. When I walk in and I don't see that water coming in, and I take moisture reading of your floor, and it says it's fine, it's not wet. We're working on a job right now in Elk Grove where the bathroom flooded downstairs, and the sheetrock got destroyed, but part of the flooring got damaged. And he called on a different company, a different restoration company. They came out, removed the sheetrock and so on, and then he wanted us to do the rebuild. And I said, is the floor, was it damaged like this before or after? He goes, no, it was fine before, and now it's damaged. I was like, how come they didn't pull the floor? How come they didn't take reading? Well, I don't know. Did you explain to that wasn't here before? I don't know. That's the problem. Now it's the fight that I have to fight with the adjuster to show him that it's damaged. It wasn't here before. It was something that existed, when the damage happened. And that's going to take a lot of. In a customer home, when we start by removing the water, extraction. We have roughly right now about 9 truck mount equipments that we're able to use for extraction. It's very, very powerful. We try to do it as quick as possible to eliminate any mold growth. Removing the damaged material, which is carpet or pad, wet sheetrock. The minute it gets wet, it has to be removed to eliminate any problem from mold or anything like this. The biggest thing is this: if any outside walls to your home, it has insulation. If you look at your house, it has 4 walls basically. Those 4 walls, they all have insulation. The minute they get wet, that has to come out because the insulation inside, it's going to be soaking wet and you cannot dry it. There's no way to dry it. Any walls that's inside your home, separating like bedrooms, walls and stuff like that, does not have insulation. So we don't cut, a lot of times we don't cut that sheetrock. What we do is we poke holes in them and we just run drying equipment throughout the walls to dry the structure. So you're not, save the headache for one thing, and second thing is basically you're not suffering through the headache and so on. We set up equipment, various equipments. The first one that's on the right hand side, that's an air mover. The blue one, that's called an air scrubber. Air scrubber, basically what it does, it basically pulls the air from the environment and cleans up the air. Any particles in the air, whatever you have, we use that a lot with mold, we use it with fire. If there's any particles in the air that's flying, it's going to extract it. There's a HEPA filter inside of those units, and you get, at the back end of it, you get clean air. And that cyclate, it depends on the size of the house. Each unit will circulate the air in the house 4 times every hour. So if you leave it there for a couple of days, you'll have basically hospital level air. The other units where it's blue and yellow, that's called the dehus. And what the dehu does, basically it pulls the moisture from the air. So the air mover pushes the air into your walls. That becomes, your moisture becomes airborne. The dehu basically takes that wet moisture and converts it to water and dumps that water into your sink. And going back to that, the whole time we're doing this process, we're constantly in your home every day. So the average water damage process is we try to finish it within 3 days. That's what the insurance really demand of us. Depends on how severe the problem. It could go up to 5 days, but if it goes any further than 5 days, you have to have a really good reason why it's taking that long. And one of the biggest reasons why it takes so long, but usually, like I said, we're there every day to monitor the moisture. We take readings of the air, the humidity. We take readings of your sheetrock or your framing to make sure everything's dry. We will not shut or not close anything down before we make sure that everything has to be dry. And usually sheetrock, it should be 0.2%. That's the standard in Sacramento, in California. And on the wood, on the framing, it's 7.9% of moisture. That's when it comes to water damage. Mold remediation, we restore in safe and healthy condition in your home to prevent any more damage. What could cause more damage in mold? Very easy, your health. That's the biggest thing. Mold reading, stuff like that, doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know how to deal with it. So mold is really a silent killer because you could, we all react to mold in different ways. I could be living in a house that's moldy and I'm fine. I'm just coughing or sneezing, that's it. One of you guys could walk into the house and then leaves and end up in the hospital because that's how serious her immune system is. Or the key steps in the mold remediation is basically assess the area, contain the area, make sure that anytime there's mold, we have to build a containment, we have to close it up. You cannot do any mold without being exposed. The biggest thing is, a lot of the construction companies say, oh, we'll just cut it and remove it and take it out. Well, you can't really do that because the minute you cut it and you remove it, it becomes airborne in the house. Now you contaminate the whole house. Now you destroyed the whole house, basically, especially if you have air conditioner running or heater running and stuff like that. Now it gets pulled into your system and it's just a miserable cycle. And a lot of people, we helped a lot of people with doing that, but the problem is it costs a lot of money because you end up, now you have to clean the whole house, you have to wipe the whole walls, you have to clean the air ducts. So it's a big mess. So before you touch it, it has to be contained, contaminated, build a containment, and set up the air scrubber, make sure there's nothing becomes airborne, have the guys in PPE, educate the customer, make sure that the customer knows what's going on and understand what's safety, because when we're done with that, we'll do a mold testing, make sure that it's clear, there's no problem. There's the smoke and the soot damage. A lot of times when you have a fire damage, it could be as simple as while you're cooking, you leave the pot on the stove and you walk away, and that creates a lot of heat, and that creates a lot of soot, and it becomes your whole kitchen becomes smelly and doesn't smell good. Even though it didn't really start a fire, you still have to wipe everything down. You have to get rid of all that soot. You have to get rid of that smell, and